Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 11th of May 2023. Now the inflation numbers are out guys and the Bidenflation stands at 4.9% and in today's episode we'll go ahead and look at what is it that it means in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now what I'd really recommend you to do is guys, in order to check the inflation numbers, there's only one website, so make sure that you avoid looking at mainstream media because most often what they tend to do is they put across their own narrative and you'd be surprised that often the information provided by mainstream media is quite different to what the actual inflation numbers are. So the website to check the inflation numbers is bls.gov. Now guys, in today's episode, we're going to be discussing some massive news and this is regarding Marathon Digital Holdings and they are moving the mining operations in Abu Dhabi. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And guys, in the world of Tether USDT, there is some update and looks like Bitfinex's Tether USDT has made a massive profit in the first quarter of this year. To be honest guys, I found this extremely strange. The reason being the 24-hour volume in 2023 has been absolutely the lowest. But knowing the notorious history of Bitfinex, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some extremely heavy manipulation going on. And guys, listen, if you know the auditing procedure of Tether USDT, it is an absolutely big question mark. But nonetheless, we'll definitely go ahead and explore what that news is all about. And we also have some update regarding Grayscale Investments and looks like they are filing for 3 new ETFs. So absolutely massive news. Now will that have an impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? I really am not sure because Grayscale Investments is kind of in some deep trouble as well. But I'll definitely go and explore what the news is all about. And finally guys, we have some news regarding Boba Network and they are breaking some records as well. So I'll go ahead and explain what Boba Network is and what kind of a record they are trying to break. And guys, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, I'm going to be discussing 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And the first news is something which I already covered, that is Marathon Digital Holdings and their announcement of immersing crypto mining operations in Abu Dhabi. And the second news guys is something which I recently covered. It has to do with MaskX Global. And just last Sunday they had an event at the Museum of the Future. So the news is that Dubai cryptocurrency exchange MaskX gets VARA's approval for launching operations in the UAE. And this guys is an absolutely massive news. So I'll go ahead and explain what the news is all about. And it's going to be really interesting guys because a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges are setting up the base particularly in Dubai and the UAE. Now one thing which I've mentioned several times in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast is Dubai is lately turning out to be a red ocean, which is not necessarily a bad thing from a customer's point of view. I look at it in 3 ways, that is time, cost and quality. So far as time is concerned, we are expecting faster services or else we can easily switch. So far as cost is concerned, we are expecting cheaper rates or we can always switch. And finally guys, so far as quality is concerned, we are talking about the user experience and customer service. But from a business point of view, it just means stiff competition and they'll have to aggressively compete in marketing and maybe offering world-class services. So quite a lot to cover guys in today's episode. So let's kickstart with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee Date, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee Date has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. They'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee a Date. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee a Date and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee a Day, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Shalhoub Group, a luxury retailer and distributor which is headquartered in Dubai, are getting into the NFT game. And here's the deal, guys. They are not just getting into the NFT and metaverse space, they are going to be shaping the NFT metaverse and Web 3.0 space, which I believe is excellent not just for Dubai and UAE, but also for the global cryptocurrency community as well. And guys, Shalhoub Group's Web 3.0 sneaker brand called Soulmates revealed their first NFT collection on the 12th of April. Now what is really interesting is that it's called as Soulmates, so it's spelled as S for sugar, O for orange, L for Larry. Now instead of E, they have replaced it with Web3 and it is the number 3 mates.xyz. And guys, listen, Shalhoub Group has over half a century's worth of experience in luxury goods, and them getting into the NFT space is a massive deal. Now if you're a sneakerhead, you definitely need to check out soulmates.xyz. And once again, guys, the number is 3 instead of an E. It has all the information, and in the show notes below, you'll get all the information. And listen, guys, if you want to be an early adopter, you can also pre-mint it at www.premint.xyz/soulmates. So definitely check it out. And they have a Discord community as well. And guys, Nick, who is the head of corporate innovation at Shalhoub Group and also the co-founder of Soulmates, has a WhatsApp group where he constantly provides updates in the area of NFTs, Metaverse and Web 3.0. So guys, check out soulmates.xyz and be part of the Soulmates OG NFT that is definitely going to shape the industry. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you're taking care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now unfortunately, since the CPI numbers were out, the global cryptocurrency market did not make much of an impact. Now the global cryptocurrency market is at $1.15 trillion. Since the last 24 hours, it is marginally down by 0.54%, and the total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is $43.21 billion. Now that being said, the global cryptocurrency market has increased by 28.59%. But honestly guys, this news regarding CPI numbers has not made much impact so far as the price of Bitcoin is concerned. It is a bit surprising that CoinDesk did actually publish that the price of Bitcoin crossed the $28,000 mark, but I'm looking at it after a few hours and the prices have gone well below the $28,000 mark. Now the total volume in DeFi is not looking good either. It is at $3.30 billion and the total value locked is still below the $50 billion mark, and it is standing at $47.39 billion, and Lido is still dominating with 25.51%, and so far as its total value locked is concerned, it is at $12.09 billion, and DeFi guys is accounting for 7.64% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume, and the 24-hour volume of DeFi protocols is as below. Uniswap is number 1 with $1.15 billion, and guys, it is a bit surprising that just few days ago the Uniswap volume did actually pump up to almost twice of what it was. Now I'm not sure if that was more to do with Bitcoin congestion, that people actually left Binance and did actually try to use a decentralized exchange. That is the only explanation I can come up with. Now the second is PancakeSwap, and its volume has also gone down at $506.44 million. Core Finance at $141.03 million. Trader Joe is at number 4 at $65.33 million, and Balancer at $57.89 million. Now listen guys, if you're someone who's using Trader Joe or Balancer, definitely shoot me a message, because what I want to do is I want to definitely get your experience, and I do want to mention them in certain elements of my episode. Now the volume of stablecoins is ridiculously low at $39.03 billion, and it still accounts for 90.14% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And guys, once again, the market cap of Tether USDT has surprisingly gone up. It has crossed the $82 billion mark, but if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, it is at $30.05 billion. So it is a massive anomaly that in 2023, the market cap of Tether USDT has been increasing, but the 24-hour trading volume has been the lowest in 2023, and it is no surprise, knowing the notorious history of Bitfinex, that they have recorded a massive profit in the first quarter of 2023. I really have no explanation. Now Circle USDC is at $4.14 billion, but look guys, Binance BUSD's market cap is on a steady decline, and it is at $5.74 billion. This is absolutely scary. So it looks like Binance's market cap has gone down by almost 60% in just a matter of few months. Now so far as its trading volume is concerned, it is at $2.61 billion. Now guys, let's quickly look at the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now Bitcoin's market cap is $540 billion. Ethereum is at $223 billion. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is a little more than double of Ethereum at $19.5 billion, whereas Ethereum is at $9.40 billion. And dominance guys of Bitcoin is 46.90%, and Ethereum is at 19.40%. Now guys, in today's episode, what I'm going to be looking at is decentralized applications or dApps, and I'm going to be just listing out the top 3 Ethereum dApps and top 3 decentralized dApps that are working on Binance BNB chain. Now on Ethereum, all 3 are to do with Uniswap. The first one is Uniswap version 3, which is a cryptocurrency exchange. The second one is Uniswap NFT aggregator, which is more of an NFT marketplace. And the third one is Uniswap version 2, which is once again a cryptocurrency exchange. Now I'm just looking at it right now guys, and the number 4, there's no surprise, it is at OpenSea. So it looks like when you talk about Ethereum, the top 5 or maybe top 10 mostly has to do with either NFTs or decentralized exchanges. So what about other use cases guys? When you talk about blockchain technology changing the world, let's say identification, or let's say anything to do with supply chain management, they're definitely not there in the top 10. I wouldn't be surprised they're not in the top 25 as well. So I definitely need to do some more research on that. Now so far as Binance BNB Coin is concerned, the top 3 decentralized apps, the first one is Hook, the second and the third one is once again to do with cryptocurrency exchanges, that is PancakeSwap version 3 and pancakes are a portion too. Now guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. Now the prices of Bitcoin did temporarily pump up, but less than 1% after the CPI numbers were out, but it has gradually gone down. It is at $27,886, and since the last 24 hours, it is up by 0.85%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 2.26%. Ethereum is at $1,858. Now since the last 24 hours though, it is marginally up by 0.59%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 0.77%. And guys, yesterday in my episode, I did talk about Bitcoin Satoshi Vision that did actually pump up by roughly around 33%, but looks like it has gone down. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at it right now. Since the last 24 hours, the price of Bitcoin Satoshi Vision has gone down by 11.28%. Now, unfortunately, guys, a lot of the Bitcoin maximalists and some of the OGs of Bitcoin absolutely do not like Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. And yesterday, I did talk about some drama going on in the world of Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. Now, let's look at Binance BNB coin. It is at $316. Since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 1.47%. And since the last 7 days, it is down by 2.28%. And guys, yesterday in my podcast, I did talk about Warren Buffett, who did actually dump $13.3 billion in stocks. So the news that was circulating is that Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway did actually dump $13.30 billion worth of equities. And what they did was they actually increased exposure in cash and United States Treasury in Q1. So could it be possible that this whole narrative of cash is trash is no longer in play? I really am not sure, because if you look at Berkshire Hathaway's earnings report, it does actually state that they actually increased the cash reserves by $2 billion, and it is currently at $130.60 billion, and this is the highest level since 2021. And guys, as we know, Warren Buffett is definitely not a massive advocate of Bitcoin. Now, there's an interesting article which is published in CoinDesk, which actually states that could it be possible that Warren Buffett is preparing for a potential stock market crash, particularly in the US, because of the US banking crisis as it is being unfolding. Is that the reason why he's gone ahead and increased his exposure to cash? I really am hoping that is not the case. But what would have happened, let's say rather than cash, if he would have bought Bitcoin? I'm pretty much sure the Bitcoin maximalist would have absolutely loved that. And I wouldn't be surprised because of that news. The prices of Bitcoin would have actually pumped up to well over $40,000. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens regarding the value of the US dollar. Now guys, I just did some research on what Warren Buffett thinks about the US dollar. He's definitely anticipating that the value of the US dollar will be going down, and it may not be the most dominant currency in the world. But he did actually say that that does not make any impact for the United States government's economy, and neither for his own personal investments as well. So this is an area what I would recommend you to do is start doing research on this, because we often talk about if US is no longer the dominant currency, we're expecting the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to pump up. Most likely that might not happen. Now guys, let's discuss massive news in the world of inflation, or Bidenflation as I like to call it. And the CPI numbers are out, and it states that Bidenflation or inflation is at 4.9%. And I'm very briefly going to talk about how it impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, according to the report from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the consumer price index for all urban consumers increased 0.4% in April of 2023 on a seasonal adjusted basis, following a 0.1% increase in March. And look guys, overall the last 12 months, the all-time index did actually rise by 4.9% before seasonal adjustments. Unfortunately guys, this has not made any impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now what I'd really recommend you to do is, rather than listening to mainstream media, rather than listening to any YouTube price influencers, go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website and look at the information yourself. It is just literally 2 pages long, because the main contributors to the monthly increase in all index items were the index for shelter, used cars, and trucks and gasolines. And guys, the increase in the gasoline index offset declines in other energy component indexes, and the food index remains unchanged in April, with the index for food at home falling by 0.2% and the index for food away from home rising by 0.4%. And listen to this guys, excluding food and energy, the index for all items increased by 0.4% in April, similar to the increase in March, and the shelter index, that is used cars and trucks, motor vehicle insurance, recreation, household furnishings and operations, and personal care were among the categories that experienced price increases. On the other hand, airline fares and the index for new vehicles decreased in April. These are the matrix cars that you need to be looking at, and because of this, unfortunately, it is not having an impact on the price of Bitcoin. And you need to understand, guys, over the last 12 months, the all item index did actually increase by 4.9%, which was the smallest increase since April 2021, and the index for all items, excluding food and energy, rose by 5.5% over the same period, while the energy index did actually decrease by 5.1%. And mind you, guys, the food index did actually increase by 7.7%. And guys, once again, what I'd really recommend you to do is just go through the report yourself, because it is very basic, and it does actually state that the energy index rose by 0.6% in April, while the gasoline index is increasing by 3%. However, other energy components such as natural gas, electricity, and fuel oil declined in April, and over the past 12 months, the index did actually fall down by 5.1%, with the gasoline index decreasing by 12.2%, while the index for electricity rose by 8.4%. And guys, listen, the index for all items excluding food and energy actually rose by 0.4% in April, with the shelter index rising by 0.4% and the index for rent increasing by 0.6%, and the index for used cars and trucks and motor vehicle insurance also experienced price increases. On the other hand, guys, the airline fare index and indexes for new vehicles decreased in April. Now, overall, what the report states is that there are moderate increases in consumer prices in April 2023, and unfortunately, because of that, looks like people are no longer motivated to go ahead and buy Bitcoin, and there are different factors such as shelter cost, used cars and trucks, and gasoline prices are one of the reasons why people are spending more money on that. And the increase in all item index over the last 12 months was lower compared to the previous periods, suggesting some stabilization in the price growth. And listen, guys, because of the CPI numbers, unfortunately, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will not be having any impact, because CPI numbers do provide information on general prices changes on various goods and services. So it directly does not address the impact on the price of Bitcoin, but indirectly it does. And the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is influenced by a wide range of factors, including market demand, investor sentiment, regulatory development, and macroeconomic conditions, even technological advancements. And one thing which I did mention earlier, if Warren Buffett, rather than buying cash reserves, would have purchased Bitcoin, I'm pretty much sure the prices of Bitcoin would have pumped up to the room. And you need to understand, guys, that changes in CPI numbers can reflect overall inflation or changes in the cost of living, but they may directly or indirectly impact the price of cryptocurrencies. However, it is important to know that some investors and analysts view cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, as a potential hedge against inflation and as a store of value. But since 2020, I don't think Bitcoin has proved to be a hedge against inflation, not even during war times and not even during COVID crisis. But if we look at why Bitcoin was created because in times of rising inflation or economic uncertainties, some individuals or high net worthy individuals may choose to invest in, or even regular people may choose to invest in cryptocurrencies as an alternative asset class maybe, but in these conditions. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to the price of Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. Now, the next massive event that could possibly determine the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is the US debt ceiling. Now, it's going to be really interesting to see how and when that news develops. Now, guys, let's discuss some news regarding Tether USDT. And Bitfinex's Tether USDT's latest Q1 2023 report, which is called as Assurance Report, shows reserve surplus at all-time high of $2.44 billion, which is up in profit by $1.48 billion. Now, very strange, guys, because I'm looking at the USDT's volume, and surprisingly, guys, in 2023, the volumes have been ridiculously low. But what is even crazier is that they have once again published a report, and this report once again mentions about an audit which is done by BDO in Italy. And guys, when they selected BDO Italy for the very first time, I did have massive question mark, because if you look at BDO Italy's financial history, they are not one of the best, and just few years ago, they were heavily fined for manipulating data. So if you look at the numbers, guys, once again, Tether USDT's market cap is at $82.52 billion, but the 24-hour trading volume is at $30.03 billion. Now, what the blog states is that Tether closed the first quarter of 2023 with $81.8 billion in consolidated total assets, and the majority of its reserves are invested in US Treasury Bills. Now, will USDT be the black swan event for the cryptocurrency world, guys? I definitely think so, but I'm definitely hoping that I'm 100% wrong with this. Now, guys, let's discuss some news regarding Grayscale, and this is one of the breaking news right now. And the news is that Grayscale introduces Grayscale Funds Trust and files for 3 ETFs. Now, they mentioned this via the official Twitter channel, and they also mentioned that they are proud to announce the formation of Grayscale Funds Trust, a Delaware statutory trust structure that enhances their capabilities as a global asset manager. Now, more information can be found via the Twitter profile. Now, guys, it is really important to know that there currently exists an unsettled battle between Grayscale and the US Security and Exchange Commission, and this is rooted in the conversion of $17 billion worth of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, also called as GBTC, into a spot Bitcoin ETF product. And the chief legal officer of Grayscale, that is Craig Salm, did actually point out that the SEC has been partial in denying the company's application while approving a number of Bitcoin futures ETFs. And listen, guys, a few months ago there was some massive drama going on regarding Grayscale. I really am not sure what the update to that is, but if you follow Peter McCormack via What Bitcoin Did, he recently uploaded few episodes discussing the drama on Grayscale. So what I'd really recommend you to do is listen to that episode, and most likely over the weekend I'll definitely go and listen to that so I get a thorough understanding on what is the drama going on. Now, guys, let's discuss some positive news regarding Boba Network. Now, let me try to explain what Boba Network is. Now, Boba Network, guys, is a layer 2 scaling solution that leverages the concept of optimistic rollups, enabling transactions to be processed far faster than if made on the native blockchain, and it also has the benefit of significantly reducing transaction costs, saving users up to 80% on gas fees. And because of this, guys, it is a multi-chain scaling solutions, and Boba Network supports various blockchains including Binance BNB Chain, Avalanche and Phantom, and quite a lot of other. And guys, listen, it was originally designed for Ethereum, but it sees a big opportunity in catering to Binance BNB Chain because it has more active wallet addresses than any other blockchain. And recently, guys, there has been incredible growth on Boba Network on Binance BNB Chain, which marks the first instance of a layer 2 scaling solution for a network other than Ethereum achieving significant transaction volume. So let me try to give out what the news is all about, because what happened is that Boba Network did actually single out all of its collaboration with Rovi Network, who are the creators of popular Web3 game MegaWorld, for its rapid increase in utilization. So the news is that Boba Network, which is Binance BNB Chain's layer 2 scaling solution, has recently witnessed remarkable success by processing an impressive 2.86 million transactions in the month of April alone. In the month of April alone, averaging over 100,000 transactions per day. And this notable accomplishment, guys, stands out as a record-breaking achievement for Boba Network, considering its previous performance of 585,818 transactions in March and 99,362 transactions in February. And these statistics, guys, significantly shows a substantial surge in the adoption of Boba Network by BNB Chain users. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the future of Boba Network is. Now, guys, those are the news from Crypto and Coffee at 8 from Blockchain DXB. Now let's discuss some NASA news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now let me try to give out first news regarding Dubai cryptocurrency exchange called MASEX, because they have got WARA's approval for launching operations in the UAE. And guys, the website for MASEX is masex.com. And based on the website, guys, it states that they are built to be one of the most secure and private cryptocurrency exchanges globally with multiple layers of safety. And MASEX adopted the slogan, "Your wallet, your key," to reflect its mission to play an essential role in a free economic system by providing the masses with financial anonymity and autonomy. And they were founded in 2021, and MASEX is the owner of MSB Financial License in Canada and offers a licensed legal trading platform. And guys, just last Sunday, they did have an event at the Museum of the Future. And MASEX is a next-generation cryptocurrency exchange, and they have received initial approval from Dubai's WARA, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, for its launch in the UAE. And this approval is a significant milestone for MASEX, as it allows them to operate in and from Dubai while upholding regulatory compliance, customer protection, and innovation. And MASEX guys will focus on finalizing entity incorporation, engaging banking services, hiring staff at Dubai headquarters, and becoming the first regulated exchange in the UAE. And the service and activities MASEX has applied for include exchange, lending and borrowing, broker-dealer and virtual asset management, and investment services, and they aim to obtain Wara's highly acclaimed FMP license to operate in Dubai and maintain its commitment to regulatory compliance, consumer protection, and innovation. And Eric Young, who is the CEO, expresses gratitude for the initial approval and emphasizes their dedication to meeting the highest regulatory standards. And guys, their platform is expected to provide a safe, reliable, and efficient way for UAE users to access virtual assets, and their launch in UAE will contribute to the local economy by creating jobs and attracting foreign investments. Guys, as we know, UAE prioritizes digital transformation and aims to become a leader in blockchain technology and virtual assets, making MASEX launch a significant milestone. And guys, they offer user-friendly interface and advanced trading tools, catering to both newcomers and experienced traders in the crypto market. And the exchange provides saving packages, deeply liquid markets for various trading pairs, and efficient on and off the ramp products for converting fiat currencies to digital currencies and vice versa. And Ben Castellan, the Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer of MASEX, highlighted the importance of initial approval from VARA, from the UAE and the entire MENA region. And guys, they are currently working with regulatory authorities to imply compliance and provide a secure and transparent environment for the users. And the exchange also has a growing user base of over 1 million users worldwide, and they are committed to promoting the adoption of digital assets and building a more inclusive economy for smart cities and the citizen. And they have a comprehensive product range, including saving packages, over 300 spot pairs, and deeply liquid markets for perpetual contracts. And listen guys, the mission is to provide easy and secure to digital assets for absolutely everyone. So definitely a new player in the UAE. Now guys, let's discuss massive news, and this is about Marathon Digital Holdings, and they have announced immersion crypto mining operations in Abu Dhabi. And this guys will be an absolutely massive news, and the mining firm expects the two facilities to be online by 2024 and produce a combined hash rate of roughly 7 ETH hash per second. And Marathon Digital Holdings and 02 have formed a joint venture to establish scale immersion Bitcoin mining operations in Abu Dhabi. Now, will they be doing it underground? I most likely think so. And the joint venture, called as Abu Dhabi Global Markets JV entity, that is Abu Dhabi Global Market Entity, will develop and operate 2 digital asset mining sites with a combined capacity of 250 megawatts. The larger 200 megawatt site will be located in Masdar City, in Abu Dhabi's sustainability hub, while the 50 megawatt site will be in Mina Zayed, which is the port zone. This, guys, is an absolutely massive deal, and Marathon and 02 will leverage excess energy in Abu Dhabi to power the sites, increasing the baseload and sustainability of the grid. And clean energy certificates will be used to offset any non-sustainable produced electricity. And 02 will hold an 80% equity membership in the ADGM entity, while Marathon Digital Holding will hold 20%. Now, during the development period in 2023, capital contributions to the ADGM entity are expected to be a total of $406 million, including cash and in-kind contribution. And guys, listen, there was this rumor circulating that Cypher Capital is actually merging with Kevin O'Leary to start up mining operations, and I did find out about this news when Kevin O'Leary was in an interview with Anthony Pompliano, and roughly around 6 to 8 months after that, the CEO and the co-founder of Cypher Capital did actually mention something similar in one of his LinkedIn posts as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they're going to be competing against each other. Now, one thing you need to understand, guys, so far as the news regarding Marathon Digital is concerned, the digital asset mine, that is Bitcoin, will be distributed twice per month according to equity ownership between 02 and Marathon. And guys, Marathon and 02 previously conducted a pilot program to test large-scale digital asset mining in Abu Dhabi's desert climate. And look guys, I wouldn't be surprised if the mining operations is done underground, and the answer is pretty simple. The mining equipment does actually get heated a lot, and the only way to do that will be underground. Now think of it, how crazy is this, guys? The mining operations of Bitcoin all over the world are usually done in areas where the temperature is ridiculously cold, but they're deciding to do that in one of the hottest regions in the world, and the only idea I can think of is to set up the mining operations well underground so you can actually escape the heat. Now going back to the news, guys, they developed a custom-built immersion solution to cool the ASIC miners and proprietary software to optimize performance, and the pilot project showed promising results, indicating the feasibility of operating immersion digital asset mining sites in Abu Dhabi. And guys, mining equipment and infrastructure for both parties has been ordered, and the construction is currently underway, and the sites are expected to be technologically advanced and energy efficient mining operations globally. The expected combined hash rate of the site is approximately 7 ETH hash per second, and the collaboration between Marathon Digital Holdings and Zero2 is a significant milestone for the blockchain and digital asset in Abu Dhabi, and Marathon's expertise in developing innovative mining technologies complements Zero2's regional expertise and relationship, and the joint venture aligns Marathon's commitment to advancing the Bitcoin industry and supporting Abu Dhabi's power grid. And guys, investing in Marathon security involves risks as described in the company's annual report, and forward-looking statements should be considered with caution. And Marathon Digital Holdings, guys, is a digital asset technology company focusing on supporting and securing the digital asset ecosystem. This, guys, to be honest, is an absolutely big deal. So those are the news, guys, from Crypto and Coffee a Day from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now, guys, for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. I have a question by Raj who asks, do you think Ethereum will flip Bitcoin? Now, to be honest, Raj, at this point of time, I really am not sure when will Ethereum flip Bitcoin. At this point of time, I'm even confident in saying that most likely it just might never happen. Now, in my Crypto and Coffee a Day podcast, Raj, what I tend to do is I look at the 24-hour trading volume, the market cap between Ethereum and Bitcoin, and the only reason for me to start in doing that was to check if Ethereum would actually flip Bitcoin. And I very specifically remember after the Ethereum London hot fork kicked in, the very next day after that is when I've been tracking the data, and unfortunately I was hoping that 12 to 18 months from the Ethereum London hot fork is when Ethereum would actually flip Bitcoin, but unfortunately we are nowhere close to that, and I tend to track this data on a daily basis, and there are only few days where the market cap of Ethereum has crossed the 60% mark of Bitcoin's market cap. I definitely do think that there is a massive long way, and it just might never happen as well. Now mind you, Raj, I'm only talking about the market cap. In terms of price, I definitely don't think that Ethereum will ever flip Bitcoin, but in the cryptocurrency world, absolutely never say never. Maybe there might be some massive breaking news in the world of Bitcoin, or some kind of scam, or some kind of DDoS attacks which is currently taking place right now. And what if that thing escalates to maybe thousands of times more than what it is? Or if they do identify some massive bug which does actually question the whole use case of Bitcoin? That is very unlikely that thing could happen, but as Andrea Antonopoulos did actually tweet one time, never say never, because in the past it was definitely possible to do a 51% attack, and I'm not talking about a very long duration. This is something which recently happened as less than 5 years ago, and I'm talking about that purely in terms of Bitcoin world. And one of Bitcoin Cash's software engineers did actually identify, and rather than demolishing the system, he actually went ahead and told the code developers, and they went ahead and actually fixed it. Now going back to your question, it would unfortunately require some massive catastrophe for Bitcoin to happen. So what I think is, Raj, in order for Ethereum to flip Bitcoin, Ethereum does not have to do anything, but there needs to be some massive damage that needs to be done for Bitcoin where it completely crashes, and only then I do feel Ethereum will flip Bitcoin. But once again, Raj, in the cryptocurrency world, absolutely never say never. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some different use case. What if there is some use case of metaverse where only Ethereum protocol is used? Now you also always need to keep considering the whole blockchain trilemma problem. And one thing which I didn't mention a few days ago is that the Ethereum Foundation, they'd actually decide to dump $30 million worth of Ethereum. Now, unfortunately, news such as that will definitely not build confidence in Ethereum because it does show some sign of centralization. But to answer your question, personally, I don't think so it'll ever flip Bitcoin, but in the crazy world of cryptocurrencies, never say never. So those were questions from the Ask Me Anything series, guys. And if you do have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And guys, if you do want to sponsor any of these episodes, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, because what I can do is I can mention your name or the project and protocol that you're working in at the beginning of the episodes, and my podcast is listened to roughly around 12 to 16,000 listeners on a daily basis. And apart from that, I tend to have events via Eventbrite, and I have 3 events coming up in the month of June. One is to do with Bitcoin, called a special hour analysis on Bitcoin, an event on Metaverse, the hype reality and the new world order in Metaverse, and I also have another session on central bank digital currencies where I go ahead and explain the basics, its threats to freedom, and quite a lot of other. If you want to sponsor any of these events, what I can do is at the beginning of these presentations, I can maybe put up a video, and in every slide, I can go ahead and put the logo of your company and try to explain what the protocol is. Now, if you do want any information regarding sponsorship, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And guys, remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And now the series of episodes on Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East, and the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.